Hey, hockey fans. Maria and I want to preface today's episode in light of the video that surfaced from the men's locker room of Team USA. We have always been and always will be supporters of women in the hockey sphere, whether it is on the ice or in the stands. We celebrate and admire the incredible accomplishment of Team USA women bringing home that gold medal.
Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of Bruins Tape to Tape. We are recording today's episode on Monday, February 23rd from Snowmageddon in, it seems like everywhere. It's just disgusting, absolutely disgusting. I'm pretty much done with Mother Nature and all of her terrible, terrible jokes this winter. But I digress. I want to welcome in my co-host, Caroline with AK, who is likely still basking in the glow of victories for Team USA as I am. That has been the one bright spot of this weekend.
Yes, this whole week, we have been just blessed by the hockey gods on all fronts, in both tournaments to see some of the best hockey I have ever seen in my entire life, both the men's and the women's hockey. You know, I want to just come out and just say to anybody who is poo-pooing the women's hockey team or whatever, you don't know hockey.
Because you don't know hockey. Get a grip on yourselves. You have no idea.
Crap.
Holy shit. So I know we said last week, or I said last week in our episode, that I found it to be not very compelling hockey up until these medal rounds. And I don't think it was compelling. I wasn't alone in that thought. But the medal rounds for both the men and the women, holy moly, did they deliver great hockey in the best way possible.
Yes. I would say that, and I mean, you know, hat tip to all of the other teams, but today we are mostly just going to be talking about Canada and the US in both the men's and the women's tournaments. Both teams leading up to their respective medal rounds and the gold medal games, they played not necessarily like fast and loose, but those games that really, really started to matter, they started to get super tight, really low scoring, and it became so much more exciting, so much more stressful. It was a completely different game that we saw. Completely different.
It was night and day. It was night and day. And I can't pinpoint what the difference was other than the stakes got a little bit higher. Maybe there were wake-up calls for certain teams in terms of, you know, how it seemed like a bit of a cakewalk it was for, you know, let's lay it out on the table. Team USA women's, they were just kicking ass, taking names and numbers. I don't think they really had any hard games. Same thing for Team Canada men's up until the medal rounds, where everything was seemingly falling right into, you know, the script that was written for them, so to speak. And maybe the men's teams USA to a little degree, but I know that we had shared some concerns about where's their next level? Where is it? Are they hiding it? Do they have it?
Yeah.
But yikes. When they got to those medal games, those specific teams, and Team Canada women's, hats off to them. Because I don't think that they didn't seem to be playing as strong as our women's team was. But boy, in that gold medal game, they brought it to another level.
Yeah. Defensively, I mean, the Canadian women defensively found an ability to completely shut down Team USA's offense. And of course, it all comes down to goaltending. Both Canada and the United States, fantastic goaltenders. I mean, you know, we're going to get to our stick taps, but Aaron Frankel allowed 2 goals in the entire tournament. 2 goals allowed. Okay. And when I was watching that game, quite frankly, the goal that she allowed by Canada, a little bit of a freak occurrence because it was not too long after the start of the period. And I think that the ice was still a little bit slippery from the refresh, and she just didn't, made a tiny mistake, didn't adjust in time, and the goal kind of snuck in. But the fact that the Team USA didn't run away with the shots on goal, didn't score 5 goals in a game. They had scored 5 goals in every game that they played except for that game. So Team Canada's defense just really stepped up. And these two teams played against each other in the preliminaries, and it was a blowout. There was no contest. Needless to say, I was thinking, and I think we talked about this last week because that had happened at that point. If I was Team Canada, I'd be a little bit nervous going into then that gold medal game, but they kind of flipped the script and they came out a very different team. And I don't know if that was a bit of a surprise to Team USA. But sure enough, Captain America herself, Hilary Knight, was able to score just an absolutely filthy goal on the Canadian goaltender to actually give the women then that chance to go into overtime. And
it still puts a smile on my face. I don't know how you can not be happy when you see the commitment, the effort, the pride, the work ethic that these ladies have put in, and our men too, because now the men, the Team USA men's were viewed, I believe, as underdogs. If they were going to meet up with Team Canada, and we're going to get to that game because there were some things that came out of that game that were awesome, and things that are not so awesome that I have some thoughts and comments about. But we'll get to that. This couldn't have played out any better for USA hockey purposes.
Oh, yeah.
If you had kids watching that game, girls, boys, whatever, they're all running around right now, I would think, saying, I want to play hockey. I want to play hockey. I want to be like Jack Hughes. I want to be like Hilary Knight.
Yeah. For longtime listeners of the pod, even since last year's Four Nations tournament, I have consistently said that this, for the men in particular, this is the best Team USA that the men's side of the program has put together, that this was the best chance that they had. But on the women's side, they've always been good. That's something that they have had, a degree of success that the men's side of the program has not had. Granted, yes, women's hockey has only been at the Olympics since 1998, and it's been the same 2 teams in the final every single time. But what Team USA on the women's side put forward, I think, simultaneously to the impact that the men's team has had, because again, 46 years, on par, in my opinion, but in 2 different ways. There's the men's team, again, that is a generational impact, the history behind it. It's going to get all sorts of kids excited about hockey and trying hockey. We know that in 1980, that win got a lot of American kids into hockey. And so don't be surprised if in 15 years we see an influx of American players in the pros. But for women's hockey, the product that I saw on the ice was the most elite level finesse hockey I have ever seen put out there for women's hockey and just the product in general. I mean, there were women on that team I think that there is zero question in my mind that they could make an NHL team. There's zero question in my mind, right? Because you have players in the NHL who maybe they're not as physical, they're not as big, but they are those finesse players. And Team USA's women certainly has people who could make an NHL team.
Well, and they're shaped, they're comprised of so much experience and talent and leadership within that room. It's just, again, it's just a testament to how far the women's sport has come in hockey. The fact that we have now a women's professional league and the Fleet have a game upcoming here that as Team USA continued to advance, more seats were sold. By the time they got to the gold medal game, that Fleet home game is totally sold out, which is awesome, awesome. The league will be able to expand and therefore afford and provide an opportunity for yet more young women to develop and grow in the sport. It's just, it gives me goosebumps. I think it's freaking awesome. And the fact that there seems to be a good and genuine camaraderie and support between men and women for USA Hockey and those teams, I think is awesome. That can only help the women's cause.
Absolutely. I think that the PWHL has really put the cherry on top for women's hockey in general. It's not the first professional league, but this is the first coalesced group, right? There used to be a couple of smaller pro leagues, and as you grow and develop that singular league, you are bringing together the best talent that you can find in hockey and bringing that to all of these women to help grow and develop their game. They're sharing the resources, just like with the NHL. I mean, think about it. When you went from complete amateurs in the Olympics to professionals, they're not just professionals because they're not just good because they are professional. They are good because they have access to all of the things that professionals have to help raise and elevate their game, right? All those people behind them to condition them, to coach them, to give them proper nutrition and all of that kind of stuff. And so I think you've hit the nail on the head that as the PWHL expands and grows and brings in more women, it increases the competition level and increases the product that you see out on the ice. Fantastic all around. I was in the same boat as you. I was a little bit worried that this tournament was going to be lopsided on one side.
Right.
As a hockey fan, fantastic.
Congratulations to both Team USA's on bringing home the gold, but I think even more so the pride that was on display, and I'm not going to go into any type of, political tangent, but the fact that we actually have people like Jack Hughes and Hilary Knight showing pride for being an American is awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Although I have to say, this is kind of funny with all these NHLers playing in the Olympics. We were very torn about who we wanted to win different games because it's so much harder when you've got these pros and like all these Bruins are in these different teams. And it's like, but I love pasta. I want this team to win.
But I have to tell you, I have to tell you, I was rooting for certain players up to a point.
Yeah.
But I found myself yesterday for the first time, I looked at my daughter and I said, I have no problem rooting against Brad Marchand today. Oh! No problem whatsoever rooting against Marshy.
That's hilarious. I know, but then that means you also had to root for Austin Matthews. Ooh.
Well, you know what? And the Kachuk boys. But you know what? Because I am proud to be an American because, I'm a competitive, you know what?
Yeah.
I could hold my nose. I could hold my nose in this instance to watch those boys. And honestly, say what you will about the Kachuk boys. And I know, we're not all fans of how they played their games, but to see Matthew Kachuk skate over to the stands.
Oh, don't even.
And pick, and along with, I believe it was
Zach Werenski.
And pick up the good Gaudreau kids. Listen, I don't care if he ran over an old lady on her bike yesterday. To do that, and they brought those kids over to take that picture. Sorry. That to me is like,
someone was cutting onions.
You get a shit ton of points in my book.
Yeah.
Now, will it piss me off next time I see him in a Florida Panthers jersey or Ottawa Senators? Of course. Of course.
But the other thing also I wanted to say, because I have to share this story because I thought this was hilarious. But when the women went into overtime, oh my God. And Megan Keller scored that goal. I shrieked so loud, and I jumped up so fast. I had to immediately sit down because I thought I was going to pass out. Oh my God.
I can tell you that, the men's game to me yesterday felt like a game 7 of a Stanley Cup final.
Oh my God.
Where I'm like, I'm not even playing the game. And I think any of us who were watching that game that have been longstanding hockey fans and knowing the history of these two teams and the last time that Team USA brought home Olympic gold. And I'm thinking, I'm a wreck here. Like, I'm ready to throw up in my mouth. And I'm not even playing this game. Like, that's how intense. And I can only imagine how those players on the ice felt. And listen, say what we will about Connor Hellebuyck and the yips that he's had in the past for his playoffs, and say what you will about Tim Thomas and the run he had in the 2011 Stanley Cup Finals. That game yesterday, by far, was one of the most superb goaltending performances I have ever seen in my lifetime. You talk about getting a monkey off your freaking back.
Although now the pressure on him is going to be greater because he's got to do that.
Because his team is going to expect that from him. But you know what? That's Winnipeg's issue, not ours.
Yes.
But
and then for the Team USA men's, I didn't know that the game had ended because the camera angle was kind of terrible. Like, well, I'm going to put all of NBC into our penalty box later, but I didn't know the game ended. I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, I got my face in my hands, and my husband is standing there and he's watching, and he's like, is it over? And I was like, what?
Because it felt surreal. It felt surreal.
You didn't see it. And I just, it's not that I didn't think they could do it. I was just preparing myself for the disappointment that they weren't going to do it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just didn't want to think that they could do it because I've seen them not do it so many times. But we'll get into the game.
We'll get into
later.
The dirty details of the game.
Yes.
I absolutely flippin' love every minute of it. Every minute of it. Right? But we do have some Bruins business.
Yes.
We have some Bruins business. Bruins get back to work on Thursday night. We are going to preview those games quickly. We have heard that Pavel Zacha has been practicing, however, practicing in a no contact jersey.
I think that he just came out of the no contact jersey.
I think they're off today. I don't think they were going to practice today. I think this was an off day for them. But practices have been taking place for the non-Olympians since February 18th. We're holding out hope that all of the Olympians get back to their respective teams with what is happening here with weather issues and hundreds and hundreds of flights being canceled. But I think the good news on that front is that only a small segment of players have games that are scheduled to take place on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them should be able to get back to their teams for their Thursday games, but we'll see about that. But yeah, we're back to hockey business.
So actually half the league starts on Wednesday.
Okay.
That's more than I was expecting.
That's more than I was expecting too. Yeah.
Some key guys are going to have to skedaddle out of Europe to get home in time, and hopefully no significant delays with the storm that's currently hitting the Northeast.
That's pummeling, kicking the crap out of us right now.
Yeah.
So let's get to the men's game, because that's the most recent. That took place on Sunday. I know a lot of people were bitching and moaning about the time of the game. And I understand. It is frustrating, right?
Yeah.
You're in the Pacific Coast.
It's tough. 5 a.m.
Right. But you also have to understand, there's a big world out there, people. Okay?
Yes.
And this was taking place in a component of that big world. And they also, the schedulers wanted to try and ensure that all of the athletes and perhaps even spectators of that gold medal game would be able to attend the closing ceremonies in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. So again, easy for me to say. I even heard people whining about the fact that it was 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, let me tell you, there were a lot of bars in Boston that opened up at 7:30 a.m. on Sunday morning that had quite a number of people there watching this game. I was not at one of them, even though one was within walking distance to my house. I decided to watch at home. So I understand that. But listen, these games can't all be scheduled to everyone's convenience, and especially when it's on a world stage. Right. It's next to impossible. So if you really want to watch the game, you can make the effort to watch the game, or, stay off of social media and watch it after the fact. Because I ended up watching it again later in the evening because it was being replayed on USA Network. And I'm like, I'm going to watch this again because I think it was fun to watch.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Well, we were already up. We were ready to go. So I was just glad it didn't go into overtime for another 2 or 3 overtimes like we've seen possibly happen.
No, and I think that's one of the rationales, too, of going to 3-on-3. And I know there's been a lot of controversy about that as well. And we'll get to John Cooper's whining about that. But in terms of being able to, I think you have more of a plausible chance of the game being completed and having a result 3-on-3 rather than 5-on-5. Okay. Yeah. This game was not the Stanley Cup Finals. Right. This was an international tournament. This happens with World Cups where they go to, a shootout as well. These games have to end at some point. And why it's not a perfect scenario or ideal, because we're accustomed to, 5-on-5 in the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's it. There's no gimmicks after that. There's no gimmicks.
Right.
Okay, I get it. But in this instance, it's an international tournament. There are time constraints. There are travel constraints. There's any number of things. So you've got to come up with somewhat of a viable format. Yeah. See it to its conclusion so that a winner can come forward. Now, here's where I have a problem with John Cooper and his comments. Now, and maybe I didn't understand the context of the comments, but when you're whining after you've lost, and we all saw your reaction, John, from the bench, because we clearly heard you say, fuck, okay? Didn't need to be a lip reader, all right?
Exactly.
Okay? If I'm not mistaken, and maybe I'm wrong, I would like to think that the IOC shared with all of the coaches and general managers of these teams what the format was going to be.
We see overtime in the regular season is 3-on-3 because you want to, and the reason why it's 3-on-3 is to try and get the game to end.
Correct.
So it's the same concept.
I don't want to hear it post-game. I don't want to hear you bitching about the format post-game because you sound like a petulant child who had his ball taken away from him.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was like, look, at the end of both gold medal games, the team that wins silver, and I said this to my kid because I think it's a valid thing to say, those folks have a right, they're valid in feeling sad, mad, dissatisfied. You have that right. You're going from the highest high you will probably ever experience with adrenaline to it just not working out. So I feel for them. Okay. You have a right to feel sad and bad. You don't have to sit there and smile. It's okay to be looking sad and not happy. And maybe down the line, your perspective will change and you will appreciate what you were able to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not faulting any player or participant for feeling terrible. But, and this is the same thing with the winners, right? I'm not saying that either Team USA you could be a bad winner and a bad loser. And you never want to see those things happen. And I just don't see what those comments that Cooper made, like, why did you have to say that?
What do you have to say? No, because to me, it's feeding into the comments that Nathan MacKinnon made about, you tell me who the better team was.
Right.
Okay, first of all, Nathan, it was you who missed a wide open freaking net, not anybody else. It was you. Okay. So if you're pissed off at somebody, look in the mirror, dude. Okay.
Yeah.
And take accountability yourself.
Right.
But when you stand up there and you say, you'll be the judge of who the better team was, or whatever words he used, but it was something to that effect.
Yeah.
To me, you are disrespecting your opponent and not giving your opponent any credit for beating you fair and square. They scored one more goal than you did. That's how they won the game.
And
you look like, I mean, honestly, I just have to get this off my chest because I think or thought a great deal of Nathan MacKinnon and his game. But I lost a great deal of respect for him in that moment. And it started with the look of disdain on his face as the players were shaking hands, as they were lining up to get their medals. This is the freaking example. You, as a great player in the National Hockey League and for Canada, this is what you want to represent to Macklin Celebrini and other young players who come after him. This is your leadership there to act like a spoiled freaking mad brat and being disrespectful to Team USA. I'm sorry. I have a real problem with that. And I think it's a shitty look for Team Canada.
For sure. I am in 100% agreement. Again, he can feel sad. He can feel mad.
Right. You're emotional.
It's also, you have to learn, this is a lesson that we teach kids all the time, especially when they're in youth sports. You're not going to win everything every single time. And you can be mad and you can say the things you feel like you need to say out loud privately, because sometimes you got to get it off your chest, and that's totally fine. However, it also was disrespectful to the IOC because you were invited to play in the Olympics.
Right.
You as an individual and you as a team.
Correct. You're representing your country.
You were awarded a medal. You were awarded an Olympic medal. You will exist in the history books. This is something that not many people in the world have. And the IOC recognized your incredible accomplishments. The incredible accomplishment to get there, to be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not only, of course, those comments were meant to be disrespectful to the winning team. And that's how hockey is. Them's the breaks, right? Hockey gods, say what you will, whatever. That's how hockey works.
Call it puck luck, call it whatever you want.
But I think it was even more disrespectful to the IOC to, receive the medal, the handshake, the stuffy, and look that way.
Because it was awful. Absolutely awful, in my view. Absolutely awful. And little humble
just
brag
hold it
here.
Together till you get to the room and you can have a bitch session with your teammates till the cows come home.
Fine. And I understand, right, the level of intensity and what was at stake for both those teams. I've never played in a situation like that. I can only surmise and guess, right, the level of emotion and the level of sadness and frustration. However, if you're deemed to be a leader, that is not how you conduct yourself. And I called our local sports talk radio show this morning because they were talking about this very topic. One of the hosts on that show is a former Patriots player who has won a Super Bowl and has also sustained some heartbreaking losses as a result. Yeah. And his comment to me was, take your L like a man. And Nathan MacKinnon did not do that.
No, I think Macklin Celebrini handled it better than he did. And Macklin's all of 19 years of age. He showed more maturity. I mean, you certainly didn't see any of the Canadian women behave that way. It was, and not that the women would be more inclined to behave that way, but everybody else kept it together. Everybody else kept it together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just, it left a sour, a sour taste, and I think it was a disappointment for me because, again, I've always admired MacKinnon as a player,
too serious for my taste,
and a leader, maybe. But I mean, you got to love his game.
Yeah, obviously,
he plays an honorable game. He's always played an honorable game.
Yes.
But I don't think he was honorable in that specific moment. And, at some point, I would like to think that someone or him is going to walk that back. I don't know. I haven't seen anything or heard anything to that effect. But, it ticked me off, and I was not alone in those thoughts. But now let's get to the good stuff. Connor freaking Hellebuyck, Jack Hughes, Quinn Hughes, the whole bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
The Werenski, just all of it. Were they a perfect team? No. And listen, I can be honest because I know I said on more than one occasion leading up to these games that I didn't think that that Team USA was as deep and as talented as Team Canada.
Agreed.
But if a member of Team USA had conducted themselves in that same manner, they'd be hearing the same crap from me, the same criticism from me.
Well, and, I mean, emotions aside, there is a kernel of truth in what MacKinnon said. If you watch that whole game, Canada was driving the ship.
USA was under siege
in the second
time. But that second period was sheer domination. Connor Hellebuyck was freaking...
And the defenseman, let's be clear. Yes, that one stick save by Hellebuyck was the save of the game. But let's not forget that Charlie McAvoy was in the net in another moment when that could have been it.
Right.
Their defense the Team USA's defense is what kept them in the game long enough to get to that overtime where they would then finally have a chance. And they just kept going and doing what they knew was, what they had to do, working their system. They were not the fancy, I called Canada in the game a Rolls Royce. Like, they were just a seamless machine that was perfection. And these were guys who were the John Deere tractor. And at the end, they were the ones who were able to pull it off because it was the right place at the right time. And that's the beauty of the game of hockey. That is why the Stanley Cup playoffs are best of 7 in every single round, because that one little mistake, that one little thing could happen.
The margins for error becomes smaller and smaller and smaller as the game goes deeper and deeper. And listen, we've seen it happen how many times?
Right.
In watching our Boston Bruins in playoff hockey. How many times?
Right.
Okay? That's the nature of the game. That's the nature
100%.
of the game. And in this instance, right? Things didn't fall into place as it may have been scripted for Team Canada before these games even started, right?
Yeah.
They were deemed to be the leader in the clubhouse to win it all.
Yeah.
They were put together.
And if they played a best of 7, they would win.
They would
no doubt in my mind.
Right. We saw it happen at the Four Nations, right? We saw it happen at the Four Nations.
Mm-hmm.
So I want credit to be given to Team USA, and maybe not credit, just don't disrespect the effort.
Sure. Yeah.
Don't disrespect the effort by those players that won that game.
My biggest concern going into the overtime was because of the intensity of this game, right? Team USA starts the period, they're shot out of a cannon, they're super intense. They're then getting bombarded for 2 more periods. The whole time we're watching this, we're like, they can't possibly sustain this level of play for 60 minutes. And yet somehow
they found, because I kept waiting for Team Canada's big guys to start to lose some stamina,
right,
but they had logged so many minutes up until that gold medal game.
What I was so afraid of happening, because it kind of would have just been a very anticlimactic end, was that the game winner was going to be the result of somebody making a mistake instead of being the result of somebody having the skill, right? Because we've seen that, right? They're just exhausted. You've seen the double overtime games, and they're just like, it's just going to be when somebody makes a mistake because they're just so beaten up.
Or, a flub, or, the mishandling of a puck because there's exhaustion or mental fatigue.
It goes off of your own teammate or something.
Right.
I didn't want to see it end like that because that would have been terrible. But
Jack Hughes will never have to buy himself a drink ever again in any part of the United States of America. And these guys have done a tremendous service, as our women have, to, as we said before, the growth and development of USA hockey for years to come. And I'm now wondering if Jack and Quinn and, maybe they should start being more of the faces of the NHL. If the NHL is smart, maybe they'll start to capitalize on that momentum in order to grow their game as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, if we could jump into, again, our stick taps and penalty box. The penalty box, NBC, on for a number of reasons. One, for showing us Sad Marshy, because I've seen Sad Marshy, and that's gutting. Sad Sid is horrible to look at. I was like, please don't ever show me that again. But also, like, look, I understand that. I understand why NBC decided they needed to make the Kachuk brothers the face of Team USA because they're loud, they're chattery, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They got tons of personality. However, I really would have appreciated to see more of the Hughes brothers because I think they are adorable. And I'll just say it because I'm much better looking than the Kachuk brothers. And I'm so glad now that the Olympics are over because I don't have to look at either of them or listen to either of them again.
I'm going to throw, too, the fact that I don't know if this is a stick tap or penalty box. I will be so happy not to hear Eddie Olczyk for it.
Oh, my God.
Jesus Christ, can he drone on and on and on and on?
Oh, my God.
Like, it's just ad nauseum. Ad nauseum.
I just, him and Bush, I can't. And he was like wrong half the time.
Right. That was the other thing. He didn't even know what the format was. But I will give stick taps to Mike Tirico because he was great. He was great in covering these
100%.
games. I thought he did a great job.
My stick taps, hands down, my two favorite, I'm going to say three favorite stick taps of the tournament. Hilary Knight.
Yep.
Hands down, GOAT. GOAT, seriously, because she accomplished the most career Olympic goals in U.S. women's hockey history with that one that sent them into the overtime. The most points, also 33 points. My next stick tap, Megan Keller.
Oh, and she got engaged, by the way.
Oh, and she got engaged.
The Olympics, and she got engaged.
She got to be a flag bearer. Like, best week ever for her. Megan Keller, OT winner, golden goal, Boston Fleet. We love that. And, of course, the green monster herself, Erin Frankel. Again, I cannot stop telling people, like, you know she only allowed 2 goals. The entire thing. 2 goals.
And how about Jack Hughes losing a chiclet with a high stick?
Oh my God, that bloody photo of him.
Oh my God. And I mean, what did they do? Did they pull the tooth out right on the bench? Because I don't even know if the kid missed a shift.
I know. No, it chipped in half.
Yeah.
So it ended up somewhere out on the ice. Oh, Lord. Yeah, so those are my favorites. And I know, of course, you said, and I'm in agreement, Connor Hellebuyck played the game of his life.
Oh.
And I also want to throw in, again, Chucky, because that guy has had a pretty horrible 12 months. And I think he is such a stellar and upstanding person. I think he didn't get enough attention because, I mean, it's hard. There are a lot of different personalities. If you haven't had the opportunity to read his diary entries for The Athletic, so awesome to read. He's such a huge supporter of women's hockey. You know, I love everything that Chucky stands for. I think he's a great role model for the kids and his teammates and other players around the world. I mean, he had such a pivotal role. Rightly so, everyone's going to be talking about Connor Hellebuyck. Everyone's going to be talking about Jack Hughes. But go back and see that clip, and he absolutely stopped a pretty what would have been the game.
No,
goal.
It would have been a sure goal. Yeah.
So, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, it's just memories. You know, these they have forged memories and relationships that will likely last a good long time. It'll be interesting to see, right, when these same teammates from Team USA face each other. You know, just, I mean, business is business, right? Business is business. They have to get back to the business of playing NHL hockey now. And there's going to be some serious business because the schedule is going to be crazy moving forward. And as we alluded to when we started the recording, Bruins get back to business starting on Thursday night against the Columbus Blue Jackets, which come in. Now, they were on fire.
Yes.
On absolute fire. So since January 12th, when Rick Bowness took over, and he is taking over the reins of the Columbus Blue Jackets only until the end of the season.
Yep.
They played 11 games, 10 wins, and only 1 loss.
Yeah.
During that time.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable. And they are now in the hunt.
They are.
They are now in the hunt for a playoff spot. So, this game on Thursday night does carry some serious implications.
Yes.
So, for those Olympians, okay, it's time to get back to business. And for everyone who's been on break, it's time to get back to business.
Yeah.
And
well, this is where it becomes the sprint piece of the marathon that is the season, because we are 12 days away from the trade deadline, which we will have our live episode happening on that day. So stay tuned for that. We've got this big hunt for those final spots, especially in the East. I mean, every game is going to matter. Every game is going to matter when it comes to the East. So it's just going to be extremely stressful as we finish off.
I think it's too soon for us to start talking about, I think, any trade deadline stuff. We've got to, let the euphoria of Team USA's victories settle, and then, see where the Bruins, see what direction they are trending in with this return from the break. So they have the Blue Jackets on Thursday night, and then on Saturday they go to Philadelphia to face a struggling Flyers team. And when I say struggling, they're on the polar opposite of what the Columbus Blue Jackets are going through, because they have suffered some serious beatdowns before the Olympic break. So, but again, no opponent in the NHL should be taken lightly. There are no shoo-ins anymore for victories. So,
And Thursday's game at home is the return of Charlie Coyle, first time
who has been his resurgence also since Rick Bowness took over. It's been amazing. And when you hear comments from players, I forget what player was asked what the difference was, made no bones about the fact in answering, it's coaching.
Yeah.
It's coaching. So I don't have any other final thoughts other than these Olympic Games will be not soon forgotten. Congratulations to all of our Olympians in each and every sport. And it'll be fun to start watching our Bruins back on the ice again on Thursday.
Absolutely.
In closing, I want to thank everyone for listening. Please take an opportunity to give us a rating or a review, help other Bruins fans or hockey fans find us by following us on our socials. You can find us at Tape to Tape MK, and on Substack, you can find us at tapetotapemk.substack.com. You can also show your support by signing up on Patreon to join us as well. And we thank you for all of your support. Any closing thoughts?
Go Bees!
Go Bees!
Play Freebird!